There is a version of you that you haven't met yet. A version that wakes up with intention. A version that follows through. A version that you would be proud to become. And deep down, you know it. You can feel it in the moments when you say, "Tomorrow I'll change. Next week I'll start. When things calm down, I'll become better." But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And suddenly, your potential becomes your prison. Most people never change, not because they're weak, but because they never make discipline a lifestyle. They wait for motivation, not understanding that motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is like a spark. It lights you for a moment. But discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark is gone. And here's the truth. You have everything you need to change your life. Right now. Not after a new year, not after you feel ready, not after life magically becomes easier. You have time. You have opportunity. You have potential. The only thing missing is discipline. Let me tell you something powerful. Your future is shaped in the moments when nobody is watching. When you show up even when you're tired. When you push forward even when it's boring. When you stay consistent even when results are invisible. Success is not loud. It is quiet. Painfully quiet. It happens in the dark, long before it becomes visible in the light. Think about the people you admire. Athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, leaders. You see their results, but you don't see the thousands of hours they spent training, failing, learning, and repeating. Success is nothing more than the accumulation of disciplined days. You want a different life? Then live different days. Start with the small decisions, because small decisions become big results. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Read 5 pages a day. Train even when you don't feel like it. Work on your goals instead of scrolling. Choose silence over distraction. Choose consistency over chaos. These small wins create a new identity, and identity creates destiny. Because discipline isn't about doing more, it's about becoming someone more. Let me tell you the real reason discipline feels hard. Every time you try to level up, your old self tries to pull you back down. Your old habits try to survive. Your old excuses try to convince you that you're not ready. Your mind doesn't fear change. It fears losing the current version of you. But if you fight through that resistance, if you show up anyway, if you stay consistent when everything in you wants to quit, you evolve. You grow, you transform. There is a day when something clicks in your mind. A day when you realize that discomfort is the path, that boredom is progress, that repetition is mastery, that discipline is freedom. Freedom from your past, freedom from your excuses, freedom from the version of you that kept you small. And when that day comes, your life stops being controlled by moods and starts being controlled by habits. You become unstoppable. Because the person who relies on motivation will lose to the person who relies on discipline every single time. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is logical. Motivation is momentary. Discipline is permanent. You want confidence? Earn it. Confidence comes from doing the hard things daily, from proving to yourself over and over again that you are someone who follows through. You want success? Build the habits that success requires. Not for a week, not for a month, for as long as it takes. Because extraordinary results come from ordinary actions repeated consistently. It is not about intensity, it is about longevity. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Few can be disciplined for a decade. That's why so few people reach greatness. But you're different. You wouldn't still be listening if you weren't. There is greatness inside you. Not in some motivational fantasy way, but in a real, practical, measurable way. You are capable of more focus than you think, more strength than you believe, more discipline than you have shown, and more transformation than you can imagine. One day, everything changes, but not because life magically improves, because you improve. Because you finally stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because you finally stop negotiating with your weaknesses. Because you finally stop living like you have unlimited time. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And the disciplined version of you is one decision away. So listen carefully. Be the person who shows up, not the person who talks about showing up. Be the person who keeps going, not the person who restarts every Monday. Be the person who owns their life, not the person who blames the world. Your future is watching you. Your potential is watching you. Your dream life is watching you. It is waiting for your discipline, for your consistency, for your courage. One day, everything changes.
But discipline is not just about pushing harder. It's about understanding yourself, understanding why you quit, understanding why you break your promises, and replacing your old patterns, one by one. Most people think discipline is about forcing yourself, but real discipline is about alignment. When your habits match your goals, you don't need motivation anymore. You simply do what must be done. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for the perfect conditions, because you know the perfect conditions don't exist. You train even when you're tired. You work even when you're uninspired. You grow even when you feel stuck. This is how transformation begins. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you cast one more vote for your future self. The truth is, nothing in your life will change until you change what you do daily. Not occasionally, not when you feel good, not when you're motivated. Daily. It's the unglamorous work, the repetitive work, the lonely work, the work nobody applauds, the work nobody sees, the work nobody cares about, except your future self. And here's the beauty of discipline. You don't see progress right away, but one day, suddenly, everything shifts. Your body looks different. Your mind feels different. Your confidence grows. Your habits become automatic. Your goals no longer feel impossible. You realize that the old version of you died the moment you decided to take yourself seriously. And that's the moment your life begins to change. Because discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It is choosing long-term satisfaction over short-term pleasure.
It is choosing growth over comfort. It is choosing who you want to become over who you used to be. And the day you fully understand this is the day you become unstoppable. So let me remind you of one final truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your habits are weak, your results will be weak. If your habits are inconsistent, your progress will be inconsistent. But if your habits are strong, if you do the work daily, if you stay disciplined even when it's hard, then your success is inevitable. Not possible, not probable, inevitable. Because a disciplined person is a dangerous person. Not because they're perfect, but because they're consistent. Not because they're fearless, but because they act despite the fear. Not because life is easy for them, but because they've stopped waiting for it to be easy. This is who you are becoming. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. One day, everything changes. And that day is today.